The title of this webinar is on risk. Okay. Now, normally when we associate risk, we look at it as something as associated with the probability of loss. Right? For example, insurance, we normally associate it that okay, if there is a possibility of loss or some hazard or some loss of life happening, then that particular occurrence is categorized as risk. Right? Whereas investment, we look at it more in terms of uncertainty of returns. Okay? So if I have to define risk in an investment setting, then it is something like as an uncertainty of returns. Now, when I say uncertainty of returns, it can be either in the above direction or in the lower direction. Now, to explain this further, for example, I assume that depending on whatever the risk profile of a particular class of asset and then let's say the state of the markets, I normally expect that the average rate of return on a particular security is, let's say, 20%. Right? So, if I expect the rate of return on a particular security to be 20%, so if the actual rate of return is more than 20% or less than 20%, right? In either case, because it is deviating from what is expected, it is known as risk. Right? Now, one may ask me a question is that as long as it is positive, right? Why is it characterized as risk? See, we are only looking in terms of buying and selling, right? So if I hold a security, if the security goes up, then obviously I want a positive rate of return. But for the other person who may be indulging in short selling, for him it represents a loss because now he has to buy it at a higher price to return it. So as far as investment is concerned, any uncertainty of rate of returns or any deviation from what is average or what is expected is known as risk. Right? Now, how do you define or how do you calculate or how do you measure that risk? Right? A very popular or very widely accepted measure is standard deviation and variance. Right? The square root of variance is the standard deviation. Right? Now, how does one calculate standard deviation? Right? Now, standard deviation is nothing but, let's say you have, and let's say 5 period rate of returns. Right? You have in one the rate of return is 20%. In here it is 15%. This is minus 10%. Right? This is 25%, and let's say this is minus 5%. Right? So that is 40, 35, and 35 and 25 is 60. 60 minus 10 is 50. Minus 5. 45, right? That is 45, right? 35 minus 10 is 25, 50, 45, right? And there is, so average rate of return is 45 divided by 5, right? It is 9%, right? And this is what is the average. It has 5 periods, total is 45, average is 9. Now, if I had to calculate the standard deviation, what I would do is 20 minus 9 whole square, 9 is the average, 15 minus 9 whole square, minus 10 minus 9 whole square, 25 minus 9 whole square, minus 5 minus 9 whole square. So 20 minus 9 is 11, 11 is 121, 15 minus 9 is 6, 6 is 36, this is 19, that is 361, 25 minus 9 is again, 15 minus 9 is again 5 taken by 9 is 6, 16 is 256, right? Then 5 minus 9 is 14, this is 14, 5 minus 9 is 14 is 414, so for the 16, 1, 4 is 156, 14 is 196, right? Right? I would calculate the deviation, right? Take the square of deviation, right? And then I would total it. So 1 plus 6, 7, 8, 8 plus 6, 14 plus 6, 20, 2 plus 2, 4 plus 3, 7, 7 plus 6, 13, 13 plus 5, 18, 18 plus 9, 27, 2 plus 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 70, right? Now since there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So because it is a sample, what I would do is I would divide it by n minus 1, that is 5 minus 1, 4, 970 divided by 4, and to find this is the variance, and 970 divided by 4 would be the variance. That is 4 to the 8, 17, 4 to the 16, 8.5. 262.5 is the variance, and if I find the square root of 262.5, right, that would be the standard deviation, right? Standard deviation is denoted by sigma, whereas variance is denoted by sigma square, right? So this is the commonly accepted measure of risk. Total standard deviance is known as a total risk, right? At a later point of time, we can also divide risk into systematic and unsystematic. Now, systematic and unsystematic basically means that those which are explained by market forces is known as systematic, and those which cannot be explained by market forces, right, and which do not debate in accordance with the market, that is unsystematic, right? So, to measure of systematic risk is beta, right? And beta is calculated as covariance of securities returns with that of the market. Beta is covariance of securities returns with that of the market divided by the variance of market returns. Okay. So at a later point of time, the division between systematic and unsystematic risk. Okay. Then on the other hand, while this is a measure of risk, there are other forms of categorization that you may have. For example, political risk, which is in terms of political risk, which callability risk, if the security is called before its maturity. There may be a foreign exchange risk, because risk associated because the particular cash flows are particular foreign exchange, and if the rate of that foreign exchange deviates, so then it is exposed to foreign exchange risk. Then it could be in terms of convertibility, whether or not it will be converted to another currency. Then there is something called liquidity risk, whether it cannot be converted into liquid risk, converted into liquid instrument, or whether it can be converted into cash readily or not. Right? Market risk, as I said, is basically with relation to how it deviates according to the market. So if it is deviates, or if the correlation with the market is very high, then you have more market risk or more systematic risk, right? So in that case, you have country risk, political risk, which are mostly associated with in terms of political requirements, and if a country does not repatriate capital, so that part of it is in terms of political risk, or there is elections happening, or there is war. So those particular risks are categorized under political or country risk.